Ladies and gentlemen, success is not a mysterious force that some people are lucky enough to encounter. It's not an accident, nor is it reserved for the few. Success is something you can create, something that can be built with the right habits, mindset, and actions. However, there's one thing, just one thing that stands between most people and the success they desire. It's not lack of resources, not lack of opportunity, and certainly not lack of time. What's stopping most people from succeeding is simple: their own mindset, habits, and decisions. Let me break it down for you. You see, if you're not where you want to be, it's not the world that's holding you back. It's the way you think, the way you act, and the way you approach life. The truth is, most people are only one shift away from changing their entire future. It's about transforming the way you approach each day, each decision, and each opportunity. Without a clear target, you're wandering aimlessly. You might be busy, but are you being productive? Success requires direction. You must know exactly where you want to go so you can figure out the best route to get there. Define your goals and your path will become clearer. Waiting for the right moment is the enemy of success. There is no perfect time to start. There is only now. Procrastination is simply fear dressed as laziness. Push through the initial discomfort and take action. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. The biggest barrier to success is often the one that exists inside your head. You question your abilities, your worth, your potential. But remember, self-doubt is a luxury only the successful can afford. To succeed, you must believe in your abilities, even when no one else does. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens day by day through consistent actions. If you only put in effort sporadically, you'll get sporadic results. Commit to daily actions that lead to your goals and trust that over time, the results will compound. The people you surround yourself with have an enormous impact on your success. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, it will rub off on you. Seek out those who lift you up, challenge you, and push you to grow. Avoid energy drains who keep you stuck in mediocrity. Failure is not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Failure is simply a lesson in disguise. Every successful person has failed. The difference is they learned from it, grew from it, and kept going. Fear of failure stops you from taking risks, and without risk, there's no reward. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or even luck for your lack of success. But the moment you take full responsibility for your life, everything changes. Success is not something that happens to you. It's something you create by taking ownership of your choices, actions, and mindset. Mediocrity is the silent killer of dreams. It's comfortable, it's easy, and it's the enemy of extraordinary. You cannot settle for just enough. You were made for more. Push past the comfort zone and demand excellence from yourself in everything you do. Imagine you're setting out on a journey, but you don't have a map. You have no clear destination in mind, and you're not sure which path to take. You start walking, but soon enough, you find yourself lost, unsure of where you're going or if you're even making progress. This is what it's like to go through life without clear goals. You might be moving, you might be working hard, but you're not really going anywhere. Now let's consider the difference when you have clear goals. When you know exactly where you want to go, you start to make better decisions. You begin to measure every action against that goal. You can say no to distractions because they don't align with your destination. You'll find that your focus sharpens, your energy intensifies, and your purpose becomes crystal clear. Life isn't about just getting busy, it's about getting busy doing the things that will get you to where you want to be. Too many people spend years doing things thinking they're working towards something, but they're not sure what it is. They're not clear on their goal, and that lack of clarity costs them time, energy, and potential. You can't hit a target you can't see, so the first thing you need to do is decide exactly what you want. And don't just wish for success, don't hope for things to improve, decide. Clarity creates power. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, in the noise of everyday life, but when you don't know your destination, it's all just noise. You must define your goals with precision. Ask yourself, what is it that I truly want? What do I want my life to look like in 5, 10, or 20 years? And once you have that vision, break it down into smaller steps. Set daily, weekly, and monthly goals that bring you closer to that vision. When you have clear goals, every moment becomes purposeful. Every choice you make is a step toward what you want. And here's the truth, clarity doesn't just help you focus, it also helps you avoid distractions. People who wander through life without goals are often overwhelmed by all the options and opportunities that come their way, but they don't know which ones are right for them. They spend time on things that don't matter, not realizing they're just moving in circles. But when you have clarity, you understand that not every opportunity is an opportunity for you. You begin to make smarter decisions. You start to say no to the things that don't align with your vision. Clarity allows you to focus on what's important and discard what's not. It's like having a filter through which you can evaluate everything that comes your way, and you don't waste time on things that lead you away from your goal. So the next step is simple: decide. Get crystal clear on what you want, and then put your energy and focus into moving towards that vision. Without Clear goals, you're just spinning your wheels, but when you know exactly where you're going, you begin to unlock the power to get there, and you'll be amazed at how fast you can move once you have that kind of clarity. Procrastination is the great thief of time, and time, my friends, is the one thing you can never get back. It sneaks into your life quietly, promising that there will be a better time to start tomorrow, next week, next year. But the truth is, tomorrow never comes. It always turns into today, and nothing ever gets done. You've probably heard it 1,000 times, I'll get to it later. But let me ask you, when is later going to be? You see, procrastination isn't about not having time. It's about how we choose to spend that time. Every day we're given a new opportunity to take action, to make progress, but most of us squander it away thinking that somehow we'll be ready to take action later. But guess what? Later is just a lie you tell yourself to avoid facing the discomfort of getting started. The key to breaking free from procrastination is simple. Start now. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. You don't wait for the stars to align. Because here's the thing, you don't need perfect conditions to start making progress. You need courage. You need the courage to take that first step, no matter how small it may seem. You'll never feel ready because that's not how success works. It's about jumping in, making mistakes, and learning as you go. Perfectionism is just another form of procrastination in disguise. You might tell yourself that you're waiting for the right time or that you need more information, but those are just excuses. Success doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It waits for the person who decides to act now. Remember, the small actions you take today will compound over time. The longer you wait, the farther away your goals move. It's a simple law of nature. You either act now or your dreams remain distant. So stop making excuses. Stop waiting for some magical moment when everything aligns. The truth is, every moment you spend waiting is a moment that could have been used to build momentum. Action is what breeds progress. It's what separates the dreamers from the doers. And if you want to be a doer, you've got to start somewhere. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels difficult. It's in the discomfort that you grow. Here's the secret. When you take action, even imperfect action, you create a momentum that makes the next step easier. That initial discomfort fades, and soon enough, you'll find yourself moving faster than you ever thought possible. Procrastination only holds power when you let it. The moment you decide to take action, no matter how small, you strip procrastination of its power. Remember, success is built one action at a time. The path may not be perfect, but if you stay consistent, you will get there. I don't let procrastination rob you of your potential. The best time to start is now. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Make today the moment that changes everything. Self-doubt is one of the most powerful forces that can stop you in your tracks. It's the voice that whispers you're not good enough or you're not capable of succeeding. It's the constant reminder of all the reasons you shouldn't take action. And let me tell you, that voice is loud. It tries to convince you that your dreams are too big, that you're too small, or that you're not worthy of success. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is nothing more than a lie you tell yourself. Think about it. How many times have you had an idea, a vision, or a goal, but before you even got started, that voice of self-doubt crept in? You were ready to take that leap, but to step outside your comfort zone, and then bam, self-doubt kicked in. It's the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not measuring up. But all it really is fear. And here's what you need to understand about fear. It's nothing more than a feeling, a temporary emotion that doesn't define who you are or what you're capable of. The truth is, we all experience self-doubt. Every single person who has ever achieved anything great has faced it. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't the absence of doubt. It's the ability to move forward in spite of it. Every successful person has had to fight through the fear, through the uncertainty, and through the self-doubt. The key is to not let it stop you. You see, self-doubt thrives on inaction. The more you listen to it, the more it grows. But the moment you decide to take action, the moment you say to yourself, I'm going to try anyway, self-doubt begins to lose its grip on you. When you take that first step, even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain, you prove to yourself that you are capable. And with every step, you grow stronger and more confident. You've got to stop giving power to that voice. Stop letting it tell you what you can and can't do. Stop letting it convince you that you don't have what it takes. You are capable. You are worthy. And the moment you silence that voice of self-doubt and start taking action, you begin to build the confidence you need to succeed. Here's something to remember. Confidence is built through doing. It's not something that magically appears when everything feels perfect. Confidence comes from making mistakes, learning, and improving. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. So stop waiting for the perfect moment when you feel totally confident and ready to take on the world. That moment may never come. You've got to act in spite of your doubts and trust that you will figure it out along the way. The only way to beat self-doubt is to move past it. Don't sit there and wait for it to go away. The longer you wait, the more power you give it. The longer you stay in that state of indecision and fear, the longer you delay your success. So take the first step. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. But by taking that first step, you show yourself that you are capable of more than you realize. Remember, the more you push through your self-doubt, the less power it has over you. And soon enough, you'll find that the things you once thought were impossible are now within your reach. Confidence doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. So stop waiting for the doubt to disappear. Take action, face the fear, and watch your self-doubt fade into the background as you move closer to the success you were always meant to achieve. Consistency is the secret ingredient that separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't. You see, most people have bursts of energy, enthusiasm, and motivation. They start strong, full of fire, ready to conquer their dreams. But here's the problem: motivation fades. It's fleeting. And when the motivation is gone, too many people stop, thinking they've lost their chance. They believe that if they can't feel that intense drive all the time, they must not be doing something right. But the truth is, success isn't about having bursts of motivation. It's about showing up consistently, even when you don't feel like it. The key to achieving anything of significance in life isn't the big moments of inspiration. It's the small, everyday actions that add up over time. You see, results are not the product of big leaps. They're the product of small steps taken day after day without fail. Every successful person you admire didn't get there because they did something extraordinary one time. They got there because they did the ordinary things day in and day out for a long period of time. Think about it. If you wanted to build a wall, you wouldn't lay all the bricks in one day and expect the wall to stand. You'd place one brick at a time, making sure it's solid before you add the next. And you'd repeat that process every day. Eventually, after weeks, months, or even years, you'd have a wall. But the wall is only there because you showed up consistently doing the same thing over and over, even when it wasn't glamorous or exciting. And that's exactly how success works. People often underestimate the power of consistency. They think that because the results aren't immediate, their efforts aren't worthwhile. But let me tell you, nothing of real value comes without consistent effort. A lot of people will start something with enthusiasm, but it's the ones who keep going when things get tough, when the excitement fades, and when the results seem distant, that ultimately succeed. It's easy to start something, it's hard to stick with it. But that's where the magic happens. So you have to ask yourself, how consistent are you? Are you showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it? Even when it seems like nothing is happening, because the truth is, results are not always visible in the beginning. It's like planting a seed, you don't see the growth immediately. But if you water that seed every day, eventually it will sprout. And when it does, it will grow quickly, but only because you were consistent when you couldn't see the results. Now, don't confuse consistency with perfection. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything perfectly every time. It means showing up, doing the work, and improving over time. It's about making progress, not perfection. Perfection is an illusion. What matters is the discipline to keep going, the grit to stick with it, and the patience to understand that every small action is moving you closer to your goal. And here's the great thing about consistency: it compounds. Every small effort you make adds up, and before you know it, you've built something significant. It's like putting money in a savings account. You might only deposit a little each day, but over time that money grows, and so does your success. The key is to keep making those deposits no matter how small they seem. Keep showing up even when things don't look like they're changing. So stop waiting for motivation to show up every day. Motivation isn't what's going to get you to your goals, it's consistency. The secret to success is simple: keep doing the work, keep showing up, and trust that over time the results will come. You can't rush the process, but you can control your consistency. That's what makes all the difference. Keep building, keep moving forward, and the wall of success will rise before you. Let me tell you something important. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that for a moment. The people you surround yourself with are shaping your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions. If you spend time with people who are constantly negative, complaining, and stuck in mediocrity, then you're going to absorb that energy. You'll start to think like them, act like them, and before you know it, you'll find yourself in the same place they are: stagnant, unmotivated, and unfulfilled. Now, that's not to say that you should cut everyone out of your life, but let me ask you this: who are you allowing to influence your thinking? Who are you letting into your circle of influence? If they're people who constantly bring you down, who dismiss your dreams, or who never seem to encourage you to reach higher, then you've got a problem. You have to recognize that negative influences are like anchors. They weigh you down and keep you from moving forward. And no matter how badly you want to succeed, if you're surrounded by negativity, that negativity will hold you back. If you want to grow, to improve, to become the person you were meant to be, you've got to take control of your environment. You need to surround yourself with people who challenge you to be better, who encourage you to push beyond your limits, and who believe in your potential even when you don't. These are the kinds of people who will help elevate you, who will hold you accountable, and who will inspire you to keep going, even when the road gets tough. But here's the tough truth. Sometimes the negative influences are people you care about. They could be friends, family members, colleagues, people who, out of love or fear, tell you that your dreams are unrealistic, that you should be more realistic and settle for what's comfortable. These people might not even mean to hold you back. They may have your best interests at heart, but their own limited thinking can keep you trapped in the same cycle they're stuck in. This is where you have to make a choice. Do you stay in your comfort zone where everyone around you is comfortable and familiar? Or do you take a risk and start to distance yourself from those who hold you back? Now, I'm not saying you have to cut everyone off. What I'm saying is this: you need to be intentional about who gets your time and energy. You must choose to spend more time with people who uplift you, who challenge you to be better, and who help you see your potential. The best thing you can do for your growth is to find people who are already where you want to be and learn from them. These are the people who will open your eyes to new possibilities, who will inspire you to take action, and who will remind you that you are capable of far more than you think. But let's be real for a moment, it's not always easy. Letting go of negative influences, even if they're well-intentioned, can be tough. But you can't afford to let them hold you back. If you're serious about success, you've got to recognize that the people around you are either fueling your fire or extinguishing it. You have to choose the right people, and you have to protect your mind from toxic influences. Here's the bottom line: you must become very selective with who you allow into your life. Surround yourself with positivity, with people who push you to grow, with individuals who believe in your dreams as much as you do. And if there are people around you who are constantly negative or bring you down, you need to make a decision: either change the relationship or limit your exposure. You are in control of who gets access to your mind and who influences your thinking. Choose wisely, because the right influences will help you succeed, while the wrong ones will keep you stuck. So take a good look at the people around you. Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you where you are? If they're holding you back, it's time to make a change. You have everything it takes to succeed, but you can't do it alone. Surround yourself with the right influences and watch your life transform. Let me tell you, failure is not the enemy, it's part of the process. It's a necessary step on the path to success, and yet so many people avoid it like it's the plague. They fear it. They're terrified of making mistakes or falling short, and so they sit on the sidelines, paralyzed by that fear. But here's the truth you need to understand: failure is not something to be feared. It's something to be embraced. You see, every successful person you admire has faced failure many times. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The successful ones don't let failure stop them. They learn from it, grow from it, and keep moving forward. Failure is merely a lesson in disguise. It's the world's way of telling you what doesn't work so you can adjust and improve. It's not a reflection of your worth or ability, it's just feedback. So why do people fear failure? Well, fear of failure is rooted in one thing: uncertainty. We don't know how we'll handle it, how it will make us look, or how it will affect our future. But here's the secret: you don't know how you'll handle anything until it happens. Often the fear of failure is far worse than the failure itself. We build it up in our minds, imagining the worst case scenario, when in reality, most of the time, failure isn't as bad as we think. It's just part of the journey, part of the process of figuring out what works and what doesn't. You can't let that fear of failure stop you from taking action. If you do, you'll spend your life waiting for the perfect moment, the right conditions, the ideal circumstances. But the perfect moment doesn't exist. Success is built by taking imperfect action, by making mistakes, and by learning as you go. The key to overcoming fear is to act in spite of it. You don't have to be fearless. You just have to be willing to take that first step, even when you're scared. And here's the powerful thing about that: the more you face your fear, the less power it has over you. Every time you fail and get back up, you grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. And when you learn how to handle failure, you're unstoppable. Failure doesn't define you unless you allow it to. It's simply a stepping stone on your path. The truth is, the people who never fail are the ones who never try. They play it safe, and as a result, they never reach their full potential. They avoid failure because they fear it, but in doing so, they miss out on the opportunity to grow, to improve, and to succeed. Now, don't get me wrong, failure isn't something you should seek out just for the sake of failing. But you can't let it paralyze you. You can't let it prevent you from pursuing your dreams, from taking risks, from going after what you want. You're going to fail at some point, it's inevitable, but what matters is how you handle it. Will you let it stop you, or will you use it as a lesson to grow stronger? The real danger isn't failure. The real danger is letting fear of failure keep you from trying. The real danger is waiting for the right moment, waiting for the perfect conditions, and waiting until you're ready. If you wait for all of that, you'll never take the first step. And without that first step, you'll never move forward. So the next time fear of failure tries to creep in, remind yourself that it's just part of the process. Don't fear it, learn from it, take action anyway. You're going to fail, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep going, keep learning, and keep improving. Because when you do, failure will have power over you. You'll learn to embrace it, to use it as a tool, and to keep moving forward toward the success that's waiting for you. There's a powerful truth that most people refuse to acknowledge. You are the creator of your life. Everything you are, everything you have, and everything you've achieved or haven't achieved is the direct result of the choices you've made. That's a hard pill to swallow for some, but it's the truth. Too often people want to blame others, blame their circumstances, their upbringing, their lack of opportunities for where they are in life. But the moment you start blaming others, you give away your power, you give away your ability to change, grow, and create the life you want. When you refuse to take full responsibility for your life, you're essentially saying that you're a victim of everything around you. You're saying that the world, the economy, other people, everything outside of you has control over your success or failure. And let me tell you, that's a dangerous mindset. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you from growing and moving forward, because if everything is someone else's fault, there's nothing you can do about it. But here's the thing, you can do something about it. You can change your thoughts, your habits, and your actions, but only when you take full responsibility for them. Taking responsibility means owning your choices, your actions, and your results. It means recognizing that you have the power to shape your future. Sure, things happen in life that are outside your control, but what you can control is how you respond to those things. You can't control the economy, the weather, or other people's actions, but you can control your mindset, your attitude, and the way you move through the world. Taking responsibility means understanding that your future is in your hands. It means taking ownership of your mistakes, your failures, and your setbacks, and using them as fuel to grow. I know it's easy to blame others. It's easier to point the finger at someone or something else than to look at ourselves and take responsibility for where we are. But here's the thing, when you blame others, you give away your ability to fix the situation. You give away your ability to change things. The moment you take responsibility, you empower yourself to make new choices, to change your habits, and to move forward in a new direction. You take back control over your life. It's also important to understand that taking responsibility doesn't mean beating yourself up over your past mistakes. It doesn't mean looking at everything you've done wrong and getting stuck in guilt and regret. No. It means recognizing that you are responsible for where you are today, and from that place of accountability, you decide what you want to do next. You can choose to learn from your past, adjust your course, and make better decisions moving forward. It's about creating a mindset of empowerment, not a mindset of blame. When you stop blaming other people or circumstances for your lack of success, you stop giving away your power. You become the architect of your future, and when you own that responsibility, you become free to create the life you want. This is how you become truly unstoppable. Because the moment you stop blaming and start taking responsibility for your results, you also start taking control of your destiny. There's an undeniable truth in life. If you don't like where you are, change something. But you can only do that when you take full responsibility for the current state of your life. The first step to change is realizing that the power to change is in your hands. You can choose to be a victim of circumstances, or you can choose to be the victor in your own story. You can choose to blame the world, or you can choose to take responsibility and create the world you want. So here's the challenge. Start taking responsibility today. Own your choices, your actions, and the results you're getting. The moment you do, you'll find that your world begins to shift. You'll realize that you've always had the power to create the life you want. You just had to take responsibility for it. And once you do, everything changes. You begin to move forward with purpose, and your potential becomes limitless. And don't wait for someone else to change your circumstances. Take responsibility now, and you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Settling for mediocrity is one of the greatest disservices you can do to yourself. So many people go through life settling for just enough, thinking that it's easier or safer to stay in their comfort zone. They're content with getting by, just doing enough to get through the day, never reaching for something more. But here's the hard truth. When you settle for mediocrity, you are choosing to waste your potential. You are choosing to stay small when you were meant for greatness. Mediocrity isn't something that happens by accident. It's a choice. It's the choice to let life happen to you instead of taking charge and designing the life you truly want. It's the choice to stop at good enough instead of striving for excellence. People who settle for mediocrity are often the ones who don't want to rock the boat, don't want to put in the hard work, and don't want to challenge themselves. They're afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, and afraid of what others might think. So they shrink back, convincing themselves that they're doing the safe thing by staying in the middle of the pack. But safety and comfort won't bring you happiness, fulfillment, or success. You see, excellence is available to anyone who is willing to work for it. It's not about being the best in the world. It's about being the best in your world. It's about pushing yourself to do your absolute best, even when it's difficult, even when it's uncomfortable. Excellence is about continuous improvement, constantly seeking to grow, learn, and be better than you were yesterday. Mediocrity, on the other hand, is about being satisfied with where you are, not pushing yourself and not reaching for something greater. But when you settle for mediocrity, you cut yourself off from the rewards of real achievement. You rob yourself of the chance to discover just how much you're truly capable of. Here's the thing, we all have dreams, we all have aspirations, and we all have potential. But the only way to unlock that potential is by refusing to settle. Mediocrity is a silent killer. It can sneak into your life without you even realizing it. One day you wake up and find that you've spent years playing it safe, not challenging yourself and not living up to your true potential. And when that happens, regret starts to set in. You start to wonder what could have been, what you might have accomplished if you had just pushed a little harder, if you had just taken a few more risks. You don't want to live with that kind of regret. Life is too short to settle for less than your best. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you have to stop accepting mediocrity as good enough. You have to challenge yourself to be better every day, every moment. Excellence is a habit, and you can choose to cultivate it. Mediocrity is also a habit, but it's a habit you can break. And the first step is realizing that you don't have to settle for anything less than what you're capable of. So don't get comfortable in the middle. Don't get comfortable with just enough. Well, just enough. Aim higher. Expect more from yourself. Push yourself to go beyond what you thought was possible. You are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for, but the only way to access that potential is to stop settling for mediocrity and start striving for greatness. And greatness doesn't happen by accident. It happens by making a daily decision to do your best, to work harder, and to keep growing. So ask yourself, are you settling? Are you playing it safe? Are you willing to stretch yourself, to take risks, and to push for something greater? Mediocrity might seem like the easy option, but it's a road that leads to regret. Don't let yourself be a prisoner to comfort and safety. Choose excellence. Choose to be the best version of yourself. When you refuse to settle, the possibilities are endless. Mediocrity can't touch you when you're determined to rise above it. Keep striving for more, keep challenging yourself, and never stop reaching for what you're truly capable of. When you settle for mediocrity, you are essentially closing the door to the opportunities that are out there waiting for you. You're saying, I'm okay with where I am, and in doing so, you stop searching for the next level, the next challenge, the next way to grow. But let me tell you this, growth only happens when you push beyond your limits. Growth doesn't come from staying in your comfort zone or from settling for what's easy. It comes when you decide that good enough isn't good enough anymore, when you take on challenges that stretch you, that make you uncomfortable, and that force you to become better. Think about the times in your life when you've grown the most. I bet it wasn't when everything was smooth sailing, when everything was familiar, and when you were just going through the motions. No, the real growth comes from those moments when you were tested, when you had to dig deep, when you faced something that made you question whether you could do it. But because you didn't settle, because you embraced the challenge and faced it head on, you grew. You became stronger, smarter, and more capable. That's how growth works. It's a process of continuously reaching for new heights, of taking risks, and of learning from every experience along the way. But when you settle for mediocrity, you stop challenging yourself. You stop reaching for those opportunities that could take you to the next level. You may stay comfortable, but comfort doesn't lead to greatness, it leads to stagnation. And the worst part is when you stop growing, you stop learning, and that's when life becomes predictable. The opportunities to expand your knowledge, to improve your skills, and to step into new areas of your life or career are all around you. But when you're content with just enough, you miss them. You fail to see the doors that are opening, the chances to learn something new, or the possibilities that could lead you to your breakthrough. If you look around, you'll notice that the most successful people in any field are those who never stop growing. They're always looking for the next opportunity to improve, to expand their horizons, and to challenge themselves. They don't settle for the status quo, they push past it. And the reason they do is because they understand that true growth comes when you embrace discomfort, when you step into new challenges, and when you're willing to risk failure in order to grow. The opportunities for growth are all around you. They might come in the form of new projects, new responsibilities, new relationships, or even new failures that teach you valuable lessons. But if you're always settling for what's comfortable, you'll miss those opportunities. You'll pass them by, and in doing so, you'll limit your potential. You won't ever know what you're truly capable of if you're not willing to stretch, to take risks, and to grow. So stop playing it safe. Stop settling for mediocrity. Open your eyes to the opportunities that are waiting for you. Take on new challenges, face the unknown, and push yourself to grow every single day. Every step outside your comfort zone is a step toward greater things. Don't let fear or complacency hold you back from the opportunities that could change your life. When you stop settling for mediocrity, you open yourself up to a whole new world of growth, success, and fulfillment. And once you experience the power of growth, you'll never want to go back to the comfort of mediocrity again. When you settle for mediocrity, you're essentially resigning yourself to a life that's less than what you're truly capable of. While it might seem comfortable in the short term, let me tell you something called me tell the enemy of fulfillment. You see, true fulfillment comes from living a life that excites you, challenges you, and pushes you to grow. It comes from knowing that you are constantly moving towards something greater, that you are becoming the best version of yourself. But when you choose mediocrity, when you choose to do just enough to get by, you're choosing to live a life that's predictable, uninspired, and ultimately unfulfilling. The problem with mediocrity is that it doesn't allow you to tap into your passion. Passion is that burning desire to do something meaningful, to create something great, to live a life that truly matters. It's that inner drive that keeps you going, even when times get tough. But when you settle for good enough, that passion slowly fades. You lose the spark, the excitement, and the motivation that comes from pursuing something big. Life becomes just a series of tasks and obligations rather than an exciting journey of growth and possibility. Think about the last time you felt truly alive. Was it when you were simply going through the motions, doing the same old things every day? No, it was probably when you were chasing a goal, pursuing a dream, or taking on a challenge that pushed you beyond your limits. It was probably when you were doing something that mattered to you, something that made you feel like you were making a difference no matter how big or small. That's where fulfillment comes from, not from settling, but from reaching for something more, something that excites you, something that lights you up inside. Now, get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with taking a break, finding peace in the moment, or being content with the little things. But what I'm talking about here is a deeper level of fulfillment. The kind that comes from knowing you are truly living up to your potential, that you are working towards something that aligns with your passions and your purpose. Settling for mediocrity robs you of that. It leaves you in a state of quiet dissatisfaction, where you know you could be doing more, but you're too comfortable or too afraid to step outside your comfort zone. The thing is, you were meant for more than just getting by. You have gifts, talents, and potential that the world needs. When you don't tap into those, when you don't push yourself to go beyond what's easy, you will never experience the fulfillment that comes from living up to your highest potential. You will never feel that sense of pride, that sense of accomplishment that comes from knowing you gave it your all, that you went after something big, something that truly mattered to you. So ask yourself, are you really living with passion? Are you pursuing goals that inspire you? Are you doing the things that excite you and challenge you to grow? If not, then it's time to stop settling. It's time to reignite that passion, to set bigger goals, and to refuse to settle for a life of mediocrity. Because when you live with passion and purpose, you'll find that everything changes. You'll feel more alive, more motivated, and more fulfilled than ever before. You'll realize that you're capable of so much more than you ever thought, and you'll wake up every day excited about the possibilities that lie ahead. Mediocrity might seem like the safe choice, but it's the slow road to a life of quiet regret. Choose to live with passion. Choose to do what excites you. Choose to pursue the things that truly matter to you. That's the path to real fulfillment. When you do, you'll find a sense of purpose that drives you, and a life that's far richer and more meaningful than anything mediocrity could ever offer.